listening to Dead End Road TV. This is the Dead End Road Show. It's Bill and Ian here, back again with another. There's crypto is happening all the time, and it's bad, and it sucks. How do we start this?
That's
Okay.
up to you.
So I have been, I don't want to say actively, because that makes me sound like crazier than I actually am. I have been keeping my eye on author Bret Easton Ellis, famous for American Psycho. I've been keeping an eye on his Twitter profile because I follow him on Twitter. It's tough to say. He was one of my favorite writers.
Past tense.
Past tense, yes. Like, here's the thing. Like, Lunar Park is like one of my favorite books. It's like easily top 5, maybe top 3. Like,
Okay.
that book fucking destroyed me. But he got into some weird shit. He's into some far right nonsense now. So it's hard to say that he's like, you know, a favorite writer now.
Sure. Yeah. Have I told you the circumstances under which I read a Bret Easton Ellis book?
No, didn't you do something in high school? Didn't you have to read American Psycho in high school or something?
I didn't have to, but I
Oh.
did. It was senior year. Towards the end of the school year, we had to choose a book, any book, to do like a final report on. Like, it was a whole project. It had multiple stages. It was a big thing, like over the course of a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
So I chose American Psycho.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did, but I did, and I read it then, and I did really like it. I can't imagine what my teacher was thinking. But yeah, that's the only Easton Ellis book I read, and it was to do a final report during senior year of high school.
Yeah, yeah.
If I could go back, it's probably not the choice I would have made, but
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I really like the way that he writes in that affectless way where like all the characters act and talk like they don't give a shit,
Yes.
but then reveal their like actually deeply rooted, you know, neuroses and then trauma is like I it's like fucking catnip for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now he got into some weird shit. He courts with just like some really dumb far right people. He's got a podcast where he like just kind of rambles about movies and shit.
And isn't he doing one now where he's writing a book and he's like doing readings of this unfinished book, like chapter by chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On his podcast. Like, but it's a Patreon podcast, and so that's like the only way to access it.
Right.
Yeah, because he's convinced that it wouldn't be published or some nonsense like that. It's like, dude, you were like Penguin Random House published like all of your books. So, like,
Yeah, I can't imagine he would have a difficult time.
yeah, it's like he wants to be canceled, but like nobody will. Like, there's no reason to. Like, he hasn't done anything. Like,
Right.
So he's just into like some weird shit. So I started noticing like his tweets were getting really bizarre. And they were getting more and more self-promoty, which is like, you know, like authors have to do that. Like I trust me, I understand that. But
Sure.
for an author of his standing, it was kind of weird. It's like, okay. Then they kept retweeting an account that was called Brett's Assistant. And it's like, okay, so he's got an assistant. All right. So then I look into that, and so it turns out that the assistant is his long-term boyfriend. Which, you know, on the surface, like, okay, that fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Boyfriend is a guy named Todd Michael Schultz, and that's not like doxing or anything. He puts his name on everything. He even signs his tweets that way sometimes. And it's a very particular name, especially if he's like plastering it everywhere. So he's like branding his own tweets. It's just very weird. He seems to be a strange individual. Because sometimes he will just take over the Easton Ellis account and tweet as though he's Bret Easton Ellis.
Mm-hmm. Even though he has his Brett's Assistant account too?
Yes. And so then he will like interact with fans and even like other writers that or like people that Brett has interacted with. Like he was in an exchange with one of the cover designers for one of the books. And I don't think that the person that he was talking to understood that he was not actually talking to Bret Easton Ellis. He was talking to his assistant/boyfriend that was on the account.
Right. And these are happening publicly, like tweeted out publicly?
Yeah. He's like retweeting it because he like quote tweeted. He's like, "This is the guy that did the design for Glamorama or something like that." Like, it's just very bizarre.
Yeah.
And then he will like start getting into fights with people because some people are like, "This is kind of strange that you're like doing this." And then he'll just go like on bizarre tirades on both the Bret Easton Ellis account and the Brett's Assistant account at the same time.
Oh my.
It's like very manic, and it's so strange. And so then at this like at the same time he's like, I don't know how to describe it other than him like cooking up schemes. Like I don't know how else to put it. Where all of a sudden, like this assistant seems to be starting a publishing company under Bret Easton Ellis's name.
Wow. And under his nose.
I don't.
Maybe, potentially.
I have no idea. Because yeah. So he's like going to start publishing books, and about how like this is like he's going off about how the virtues of print books basically, and how great it is, and how he's publishing the best version of The Great Gatsby that the world has ever seen.
Really?
Because literally like in January The Great Gatsby hit the public domain.
Yes.
So it's free, like anybody can publish it.
Right, but do we know what makes this one the greatest?
No, the fact that he's doing it. So people are asking, so like, oh, okay, is Brett writing a foreword or something, or like, is it like annotated? Because apparently the thing was that, oh yeah, this is Brett's like one of his favorite books.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, oh cool, like yeah, is he writing a foreword? Is he contributing any material to this? He's like, no, just the book. No fat on this or something like that. And it's like, what? Why would? What? And then he was making a big deal that he designed the cover for it. and not Bret Easton Ellis, the assistant.
Yes.
And it it was literally a stock photo of a red car, and then he just typed in some really shitty looking cursive script font that he found, Great Gatsby, like in black on the red car, and it looked dreadful. It was a terrible cover.
Well, you could say it's like minimalist, you know, because he's going for no fat. He doesn't want anything extra.
No fat whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that was one scheme. I don't actually know if he ended up even publishing that. He was taking pre-orders or some nonsense. So then he was like hawking Bret Easton Ellis memorabilia, like first editions and shit like that. He was selling bookmarks for like $30 that were literally just like cardboard, you know, like paper bookmarks.
No fat on the bookmarks, right?
No fat on the bookmarks. I don't even think the bookmarks themselves were signed. He was signing like signed copies of books or whatever. Like first editions I get, you know, that is whatever. But it seems like if you didn't know any better, like it seems like the plot to like a shitty movie where like Bret Easton Ellis is dead and this guy's like keeping up the facade as if like he's still alive, and he's just like selling out all the shit in his apartment.
Yeah. But he's not trying to impersonate him though, right? Because he's openly like admitting that it's him and not Bret that's doing these posts.
Not every time.
Oh, not every time. Oh, that's
Not
right.
every
Because he's talking to
right,
to like publishers and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes he signs the tweets Bret's assistant, or sometimes he signs it Todd Michael Schultz. But other times he doesn't. And so if somebody's just scrolling or whatever, or they don't, you know, like dive into this like the psychopath that I am, they might just think it's Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah, you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah. So then he was like trying to sell like, I don't know, promotional posters from like American Psycho and things like that. And he wanted crypto for it. Okay. and just weird stuff. And he wanted it sent to the assistant, you know, like his personal crypto wallets and just like weird things like that. And then all of a sudden he has like Bret talking about the virtues of specific cryptocurrency.
Trying to bring up the value?
No, not even. Just talking like crypto in general and just like things like that.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know if Bret Easton Ellis's like endorsement would bring up the value of a cryptocurrency.
I don't think so either. But no, he was like talking about like big ones like Ethereum. These weren't like these shit coins that like people are trying to do.
Okay.
He was like trying to talk about like Cardano and like Ethereum and like some of the major coins.
Sure.
So like he was talking about blockchain and crypto in general too, not even just like hey, this is going to the moon kind of shit. So then he was doing that. So then this is going on. So it was quiet for a while, and like maybe like a month it was quiet.
But don't worry, because you are still on the story.
I'm still on the story. I've been holding this shit. I've been watching. So it was quiet for like a month. Then this week, all of a sudden, Bret Easton Ellis is out here promoting American Psycho NFTs.
Oh no.
And so since you read the book in high school, and you probably saw the movie as well, right?
I've seen like half of the movie.
Okay.
Maybe about 7 years ago.
So you remember the business card scene, right?
Yeah, vaguely, but yes.
Okay. So they're selling like Paul Allen's business card NFT.
Oh, this is where they're all like comparing the design of their cards, right?
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Very famous scene. It's, a lot of people that have never seen the movie know that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, he's selling NFTs of the business card. And of course, the joke of the scene is that it's literally a fucking white business card.
Yes.
And they're all comparing the differences in the whiteness of the business card.
Mm-hmm.
And, the texture of it and all this shit. And without irony, Brett's assistant is selling non-fungible tokens of the business cards for fucking crypto to make a buck.
Do we know how many of these have sold?
I have no goddamn idea.
But yeah, that is wild.
Let me see.
So, yeah, so how does this... Is there a business card for each character that's mentioned?
Okay, it's actually an auction, I think.
Ah.
Because it says 4 days left on this tweet. This is Paul Allen business card NFT. First of the officially licensed American Psycho NFTs and collaborated in partnership with Bret Easton Ellis.
Supposedly.
Winner of the auction will be entitled to redeem an autographed first edition of the acclaimed American Psycho. Oh, you also get the novel. Oh, boy. Also included are unlockable HD files and bonus production renders. There are 2 bids, it looks like. One Ethereum is the first bid, and then somebody bid again 1.05 Ethereum, which is...
Do we know how that translates?
Not off the top of my head, I have to look it up. $1,935 is about 1 Ethereum.
So that is actually higher than I would have guessed.
Yeah, it's like $2,000.
Which is wild.
So I don't actually know what this NFT is. If this is... Because on this page, it's literally like a GIF of a spinning business card. Like a 3D... So I don't know if the NFT is like the GIF of the business card. Or... what?
Yeah, I don't know what else it could be, right?
Yeah, or if it's I don't... It doesn't say, it just says you get HD files. Like, what are you don't even know what the files are.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. 10% of sales will go to the creator. They're doing this for 10% of this.
Well, what does the rest go to?
This website, Rarible, which is the NFT...
Wait, it's like a marketplace?
Yeah.
And this marketplace takes 90%?
Supposedly, yeah.
Whoa. I guess
hilarious.
I don't know enough about how the market works
That's
for NFTs. That seems wild.
That's fucking hilarious.
Wow.
Because the whole selling point of the NFTs was that, and of course it was total bullshit. But it was oh, this is going to be so great for artists.
Yes.
Because they could sell actual ownership of their work, and it's okay, we'll give them 10% of what they made.
I mean, I guess you technically,
hilarious.
and I'm not defending NFTs, so I hope it doesn't get construed that way. But you could technically make one on your own, right? If you have the know-how, and you could just sell it that way and not have to deal with.
Sure, but you have to pay to get it minted, in quotes, which means that you need to pay to put it on the blockchain in order for it to be turned into a token.
I see.
So these third parties like this Rarible, and we'll see another one later actually, they're the middleman that will mint it and put it on. So I assume since they're being the bids are in Ethereum. This will be on the Ethereum blockchain, which it'll get a cryptographic token. The ownership token will be on the Ethereum blockchain. They're the one that's handling the minting. I assume that is where some of that 90% is going, and the other part of that is what this Rarible is just pocketing. It's ridiculous. It is so funny.
It really is. So how much would you pay for, like, if you were going to buy an NFT business card from American Psycho, how much would you be willing to pay? Like, what's a reasonable asking price?
$2.
$2. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
like come on. Like it's literally like maybe a GIF, maybe a JPEG of a plain white business card. Like what?
It's weird. It's weird when you have something that is satire, right?
Yeah.
And you turn it into like an actual product that people are spending a lot of money on. It's like, it's almost like they're not in on the joke. Or
right.
Who is the joke on there? Like, you know?
It's lost all irony.
Yes, it has.
It's completely like borked. It's like, it's the whole point of American Psycho, and that scene especially is like, that scene epitomizes it. How he wants to kill him over the fact that his business card, like, the off-white, the subtle softness of it, like all that shit that he's saying, all their business cards look identical, and they're all these white men that have slick back hair that are all the fucking same. They're all the same person. That's the joke.
So it's like, who are you if you're buying this NFT?
Right. Like, what?
Now, do we think that Brett himself knows what an NFT is? Or do you think maybe his assistant cooked up this idea and Brett was just like, yeah, do whatever? I
bet it's totally the assistant. I wouldn't be surprised if he has no idea. Maybe he does, like, because I don't know what the fuck he's doing anymore. Like, I'm not going to absolve him of any innocence, but I wouldn't be surprised if he has no idea.
Right, right.
Because like, I thought the line was that, like, he hated the movie, you know? Even though it was basically the same as his book, it only changed, like, the ending slightly. So, like, yeah, like, it's so bizarre. I just think it's funny that, like, I was watching this for a long time, and then it kicks back up this week with some NFT bullshit.
Yeah, it's good timing for us.
It really is. I just, like, it won't even tell you. You're gonna spend $2,000 on this thing, and it won't even tell you. Like, is it what are you getting? What are you getting? The GIF? Are you getting? It doesn't tell you.
Yeah, and that's $2,000 right now. Like you said, there's still a few days left on this auction, right?
Yeah.
So next week we'll have to do a follow-up and see how much this actually ended up selling for.
Definitely.
Because I'll be curious.
Oh, wait. The creator says Devastating Dave. Who's Devastating Dave? Oh, okay. So they hired this dude to make it. This is the easiest gig he ever got. Jesus Christ.
He's laughing.
He has made a bunch of what look like, you know, fushigi balls?
I don't, but...
they're basically like these stupid orbs that, like, magicians will do tricks with, like, with their hands. They just kind of roll and shit. He's made those and then put them in, like, little plastic packaging that, like, you would hang up in a store. These are, like, 3D renders of the but, like, he's saying they're planets. And that's an NFT.
Great.
It just looks like a little toy you would see in, like, the dollar store.
Yeah.
Like, hung up on a shelf. Like it even has the slot for where it would be hung up on a shelf. I don't understand.
Well, it's exclusive. It's exclusive.
Why would anybody buy this? And they're all like spinning and rotating, these 3D renders. So I don't understand if you get do you get the GIF or do you get the 3D render? I don't understand.
Yeah. You can make a nice screensaver out of it.
That's what they look like.
Yeah.
Fucking Windows 2000 ass 3D renders. Okay. All right. So that's Bret Easton Ellis and what's been going on with his assistant / long-term boyfriend. I wish them well. I wish they would stop courting the alt-right.
Yeah, that would be great. To jump off of that ship. Yeah.
So, speaking of NFTs, do you know what else came out this week to theaters and streaming now on HBO Max?
I mean, I'm going to queue it up right after we're done recording here.
You know what I'm going to queue up? Oh, yeah. Now, hopefully that won't get copyright struck. The Space Jam theme is that's in the public domain, right?
It could be.
Let's hope so. So Space Jam 2, starring one LeBron James, came out this week. Or it's coming out this week? I don't know if it's actually out. The reviews came out. It's out today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the reviews came out earlier this week. Turns out it's really bad. Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's like all the reviews say that it's just nothing but advertising for Warner.
Yes.
Which is what you said it would be. Like, you called that.
Based on the based on the commercial for the commercials. Yeah, they're just making reference to Warner properties like everybody's favorite children's movie, The Matrix.
Yeah.
And apparently and Game of Thrones and Harry Potter, things that are super popular and in right now.
But none of those things take place in space, though.
No, it's cyberspace now, don't you see?
Oh, got it.
The plot is that they're in the Warner Brothers server. It's really bad. It's really bad. It's really bad.
Where they install some ransomware or something?
The bad guy's name is Algae Rhythm.
Okay.
Played by Don Cheadle.
Great.
Because apparently LeBron James' fictional son doesn't want to play basketball. He wants to make basketball video games. And so LeBron James needs to beat his ass at basketball to tell him why that's bad or something.
Wait, basketball video games are bad?
In comparison to real basketball or something?
Okay. Well, maybe it's just because Warner doesn't have the rights to NBA 2K.
Probably not.
Like, if they did, it would be a whole different story.
Yeah, so LeBron James has to go through a Ready Player One-esque adventure and collect all the Looney Tunes who have been scattered across the Warnerverse. He has to assemble the team Mass Effect 2 style. In order to beat his son's ass at basketball.
So what I don't understand, and no disrespect to LeBron James, he's an absolute legend and everything, but like, if we're incorporating all of Warner's stuff, why couldn't Batman take on this job?
He's probably in it. I think they do go. I think DC shit has to show up, right?
You would think so.
That's like one of their big things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, it does sound, yeah. Who was the Bat Family character that was like the tech Batman?
Yes, I don't know the name, but I know who you're talking about.
I always forgot his name too, but then he would show up and I'm like, oh yeah, it's that one. Which one is he again?
I want to say Luke something, or
yeah,
maybe?
yeah. But what was his bat name?
Oh, that I don't know.
I could never remember. He would just show up.
Batwing, was it?
Yeah. It might be Batwing. He got the short end of the deal. He didn't have the best. Yeah. So to promote and celebrate the release of Space Jam 2. Warner Brothers released. This says 30,000. It was actually 90,000 NFTs to promote the movie.
And do we know what these are?
Yes, we do, and they're dire. They're basically just trading cards of Bugs Bunny. Okay, so according to Variety, it's Warner Brothers is tossing 91,000 NFTs featuring characters.
The number just keeps going up.
I know. So these are basically just basketball cards of the Looney Tunes, and they gave them an artificial rarity. So like they gave them like, oh, this one's a common one, this one's a rare one, this one's an epic, and this one's a legendary. But the only difference between the different rarities, other than the artificial scarcity that they gave them, is just the color of the border that they put around them. Otherwise, they're exactly the same. Like it's the same, like, image of Bugs Bunny.
Oh wow!
It's just the fucking laziest shit.
That is so low effort.
It really is. And so the website that they were using for this, called Nifty, which is apparently a Mark Cuban venture, because why the fuck not? So you could get a free Space Jam NFT if you signed up for Nifty. Like they're not even like hiding the fact that it's the same fucking image of Bugs Bunny. Like you go to the site and that's what it is: common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, and it's the same image of Bugs Bunny.
They're just side by side.
Border. Yeah, literally, just the border changes.
It's terrific.
It's the same. And actually, if you want, I'm being real here. The epic one, which is lower, looks better than the legendary, which is there's only 10 of the legendaries available at the Bugs Bunny.
Now, does this work like trading cards typically work, where you buy, like, you don't know which rarity you're getting, or can you purchase?
I believe you just get a random one.
Okay, I see.
So they were giving out a free one if you signed up for the site, and if you tweeted about it, you could get another free one. Or you could pay, I think it was like $2.99 to get another, like, more of them.
So at least these aren't ridiculously priced, you know?
Yeah. They did sell out, but on the day that this article was posted, which was the 12th, there were lots available still. And so you can sell these, I guess, if anybody wants them, but you can't do it for another 10 days and 20 hours. Mm-hmm. Coming soon, Nifty's users can buy and sell their Space Jam NFTs directly from their profile pages. And every Space Jam NFT for sale will be discoverable on the Space Jam profile page.
So really, it's not about making money off the cards. It's just about getting people to sign up for Nifty. That's the main purpose of this whole thing.
Yes, and to promote the movie.
And to promote the film, yeah.
Because it doesn't say, like, what blockchain these are on, if they're even on a blockchain, or if these are just fucking digital trading cards.
Right.
Yeah. Just bizarre stuff.
Yeah, it feels like they're a little bit late to the party on this one.
Oh yeah.
To say the least.
Oh yeah. It's like, I don't know who wants this. Like, what child wants a digital trading card? Like,
if it's not tied to a video game, then it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Like, there's nothing you can do with it. You can just look at it.
Something recognizable that you could take. Like, it's not Pokemon, where like the whole thing is the. Well, I don't know. I guess people care about the value of that now. Like, whatever those fucking rare pack openings or whatever the hell that is. I don't even understand that shit. Yeah. So it's just a bizarre promotional stunt for. I don't get it.
Yeah. So did you tweet out and get one for yourself?
No, I was I was too
Which
late.
rarity
I
you
was too
got?
late. I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't get in.
bummer.
Yeah, I didn't get a common Bugs Bunny. Um, I'm looking at the Nifty site now. Their homepage. They're like these look like shitty phone wallpapers that I guess they're selling. Oh, some of these are animated. And some of these are just like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. This one says, oh, these are meme NFTs. Meme Grail Relic. It's a pineapple and sunglasses in a chalice that says Meme Grail. Okay.
Yeah, I don't really even know how to interpret that.
NFT details. I hit the button and it doesn't give me any. Okay, cool. All right, well, I guess I won't be buying the NFT of the pineapple.
Does that have a price on it?
No, I tried to click details and it won't give me any. Best of meme. That's the playlist. That's the NFT playlist.
Oh.
What the fuck is any of this? What is any of this? But then, yeah, there's some of these that just look like wallpaper. Like phone wallpaper.
And you said this is Mark Cuban's site?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. LeBron James also came to Fortnite this week.
I heard, yes, I heard about that. It was in one of these articles, yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool skin. I didn't buy it, though.
Can you resell it later on for...
No, unfortunately, you can't.
How much does it devastate the environment in order to mint the skin?
As far as I'm aware, not at all, which is definitely a plus. Definitely a plus.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually use this skin while playing a video game. So it has, a purpose to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How novel.
I know, right? It is pretty cool, though, because, it comes with these challenges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, the more challenges that you complete while wearing the skin, you unlock, a scale. And the higher the scale goes up, the more gold is on this LeBron James skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's something that they haven't done before. The whole scale thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we are in the crypto space, we are in the crypto hole.
We've been in it. Yeah.
Let's just ride it out. So, did you hear about this Save the Kids thing?
No. I was waiting for you to explain it.
Okay. All right, this is a whole thing. All right. So, there was this shit coin introduced called Save the Kids coin. It was a cryptocurrency where every transaction, a percentage in tax would be taken and donated to charity. It was something like 3%, and then 1% would go to charity, and then 2% would go to the mining fees or something.
I was gonna say, so far so good, but I don't know if I like those percentages.
No, the percentage was absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
So in order to do in order to pump up this coin, they got some influencers. And this is according to Insider. Influencers with millions of followers. I don't know any of these people. Summer Rae, Rice Gum, and members of the esports organization Face Clan excitedly backed the June 5th announcement of Save the Kids, or Save the Children, a new cryptocurrency. So, the website is now offline. You cannot go find Save the Kids. If you look for Save the Children or whatever, there is a Save the Children, an actual charity that was completely unrelated.
So does this mean yeah. Well, I was wondering if this means that they've successfully completed their mission in saving the children.
Not quite.
Not quite, okay.
So even I'm getting it confused. So Save the Children is actually a real charity
Oh, okay.
in the UK that is completely they have nothing to do with this cryptocurrency. They have nothing to do with any cryptocurrency. They're a real charity. So it's Save the Kids is this stupid coin. In fact, they actually lifted the logo from Save the Children. They stole it. It looks pretty much the same. So what happened with the Save the Kids coin was that it was a complete pump and dump. So they got these influencers to promote the coin. They gave them the coin to promote it to their followers to get them to buy it. And then they immediately dumped it and sold it. And the price plummeted to nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So like on the day it was launched, it was worth like maybe $1 per coin or something like that. And the very next day, it was worth literally fractions of a penny each. And
so they sold it when it was at its highest?
Yes.
Gotcha.
So since there were like 4 members of the FaZe clan, a successful esports organization and influencer incubator, my god, just burn it all down, has suspended 4 members involved with the cryptocurrency coin, with some online accusing the coin of being a scam. Okay, so the high was half a penny, and then it plummeted to 60% of that. So we're talking like minuscule fractions of a penny.
Wow. Now, are we assuming that the FaZe Clan members and the other like celebrities that endorsed this, that they weren't aware of the scam aspect of it, I'm assuming?
Now, here's the thing.
Okay.
There were a couple of other YouTubers that went into like research mode about this, because this has become a very common trend where like people just develop all these shit coins with no intentions of actually like making them work as a currency. They make them, they find some influencers to promote the coin, they pay them to promote the coin, so they pump it up and then they dump it. It's a pump and dump scheme through and through.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of shit that is illegal with stocks, but since crypto is not regulated yet, it's technically maybe not illegal yet, but it probably kind of is illegal, because this was part of the reason why John McAfee was on the run. He had somewhat of a complaint against him from the Department of Justice, and in that complaint, they mention a crypto pump and dump that he was involved in. So the feds are at least aware of this shit.
Yeah.
So now the thing with the cryptocurrencies is, and the YouTubers that were looking into this, their handles are CoffeeZilla and Some Ordinary Gamers. They were looking into this, and the thing with the crypto is that people love to say that, oh yeah, it's anonymous and blah 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 blah. It's not. It's really not, because the whole point of it is that it's on the blockchain, which is a public ledger. So you literally can see every single transaction. So if you can identify what what wallet belongs to who, you can trace every single one of their transactions because it's all public. So that's what they did.
Right.
So they followed all of their transactions with these FaZe Clan members, because they were also doing giveaways for other crypto. And this FaZe K guy, he was doing other crypto pump and dumps, and he was also doing crypto giveaways. And
Oh, boy.
every single giveaway that he was doing, it was either won by his manager or like other people that he knew.
Like Bret
So
Easton Ellis's assistant.
Right. So they were completely illegitimate giveaways. They were not giveaways at all. It was a total fraud. So that guy was fired from the FaZe clan.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, and so they suspended a few others as well that were involved in the Save the Kids one. I don't think they've gotten rid of the manager yet, but the manager has been doing this, getting these influencers involved in these pump and dumps for a while, and like a lot of money is being thrown around, like upwards of $500,000.
Wow.
Just to promote these fucking things. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah. It's especially bad when it's under the disguise of charity.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
Just awful.
And so this FaZe K came out with a minute-long statement titled "The Truth About Save the Kids." And he's actually we could listen to it, but we don't need to. He's like, "Oh yeah, I lost money on this token and blah 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 blah," and that he's going to conduct an independent investigation, which I don't think I don't think that's how that works.
No.
I think you're kind of confused. And that there was a lone con man that convinced him and all of his friends to do this. But they didn't, like, how would they convince you to sell the coin? Like I can understand being convinced to get involved and promote this fucking thing. But like they didn't tell, like, why would they tell you to sell the coin?
Yeah.
Because there was also another guy who was given the coin to promote it, and he didn't sell it at all. He did the pump, but he didn't do the dump. So he didn't make any money on it. So he was like absolved from the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he still promoted it. It was kind of, you know. But he didn't dump his coins, so he's stuck with these shit coins. But it's like, yes, like, who is this? There's no lone con man on the grassy knoll, you know. But yeah, it's just wild shit. And the thing is that there's like so many of these. There's so many coins that are like, you know, I don't know. They're like all variations of Moon Coin and like Doge Rocket. They just put Doge or Shiba or Moon, anything with space, anything with that, or they try to sneak Elon in there. And there are so like, and they're just pumped and dumped, and the value tanks immediately. But they just find influencers to talk about them. Guys, this coin's really cool. It's going to the moon. Blah 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 blah. And they just dump it out, and it's never heard from again. They shut down the websites. It disappears. And they're just rampant all over the place. And then there are other coins. There was another coin that they talk about in this one video about it. I think it also might be a charity coin. I don't know how legitimate it is. It's probably just as legitimate as the Save the Kids coin. It's called like Tits coin or whatever. And it's supposed to be like breast cancer charity. I didn't really look into that one. It just reminded me of that, like, you know, that shitty pop punk stuff in the early 2000s, like the I Heart Boobies bracelets. And it's supposed to be
very
like,
reminiscent of that. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like, oh no, it's not really gross and misogynistic because it's supposed to be for breast cancer awareness. It's like, no, you just want to be gross. You just want the cover of it. So yeah, so like there's Tits coin. There was a MILF coin. It's just like, just like the dumbest shit. And And yeah, they just get pumped and dumped all over the place. And yeah, the feds are getting close. They're gonna they're getting close.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they get a handle on it, because it's. But yeah, like as far as like the phase guys, like you have other streamers that aren't like, they're just not related to this at all, but they're doing the research and they figured this out, and yet you didn't do any research. If we're supposed to believe that you were innocent, like, come on.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna be conducting an independent investigation to see that I didn't do anything wrong. It's
Oh yeah, that's
okay,
hilarious.
buddy. Okay, buddy. Sure.
I'll be waiting on those results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's all public. It's all there. Once you can identify what, like, who owns what wallet, you could see every single transaction.
Yeah.
And the way you can do that is that, like, since this was a supposed charity coin, they had to identify their master wallet. And so you could find out like, they gave out the promotional coins to the influencers. So you could trace it from that, and then to see what the influencers did with their coins.
Right.
Because they gave them all the same amount. So you could trace the amounts. It's actually really fascinating to see how you could trace it. But yeah, it's all public. Because they built the coin on, like, the Ethereum blockchain, I think. So you could literally just search. It's all public. It's a public ledger. So
yeah, I'm glad I haven't gotten into cryptocurrency in any way.
It's so fucking dumb.
Yeah,
it's so fucking dumb. I tried it to start that to write that article about it, and it gets dumber and dumber the more shit that comes out. And at the same time, like, I put in $75 initially to like, write that article and, like, experiment around. And, like, the way I did it was, like, I did it almost like, you know, I considered it like entertainment money, or like just gambling. I was like, oh, I this is lost money. This is, you know,
sure.
Like, it's like I bought a video game or something. Like, I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck around. I'm gonna write about my experience with crypto. And then it went nuts. So, like, when I wrote the end of the article, which was, like, over, like, a 3-month period or whatever, I had made, like, $300. And so then I just kind of, like, stuck with it or whatever, and I made, like, some trades. And then that's when shit blew up with, like, all the Elon Doge shit. And it went as high as $900.
Wow.
And this is without me putting in any additional, like, actual funds.
So is this a thing where you can just, like, cash out?
Kind of. Like, you have to. This is like, me, like, saying that I have a portfolio sounds like the douchiest shit. But like, this is like, I had some Bitcoin, some Ethereum, and, you know, a few other different coins. So, like, it was spread out. So if I wanted to cash out, I would basically need to trade it into a specific coin, usually like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then trade it to an exchange, and then trade it for, you know, US dollars. The problem is that when you're doing an exchange for one coin for another, there are fees associated. Like, that's where the mining, like, comes in. So there are mining fees with that.
Yeah.
Then whenever you trade it to an exchange, there are fees. And then if I was to trade it to US dollars, there would be fees. So, like, there would be fees all along the way. So, like, that money, that $900 would go down a lot. It probably would have been, like, maybe $800 at best if I were to cash that out. I should have cashed that out but I was like, it was like $950, and I was like, maybe I'll like at $1,000, I'll be done with this shit, because that's a nice chunk of change.
Sure.
And then immediately after that, Elon pumped and dumped the market.
Wow.
Like immediately after that. That was whenever he did his whole Bitcoin is now bad for the environment, so I don't want anything to do with Bitcoin with Tesla. And so that's when Bitcoin tanked. And then he went on SNL and said that Doge is a scam.
Oh my goodness.
And so then the whole market tanked.
So where are you at now with it?
The market is like really unstable now. Ever since then. So now I'm at like the high end of 300, like it's like 390, sometimes above 400. So now it's just more curiosity. I just like look at it and see.
Yeah.
Because the fees have gotten so like ridiculously high. Like if I were to try to like move my shit into Ethereum to like try to get it into cash, the fees are like so much higher now. And I don't know why. I don't like know what the logic behind the fees are. I would lose like a lot. Like if I wanted to trade, like I have like like maybe like $100 of like Bitcoin cash, and if I wanted to turn that into Ethereum, it would turn into like $70 worth. Like I would lose like a third.
Yeah.
So like to me, it's like kind of not worth it unless it's like a whole lot of money. Like not to get me like $400 is like that's a good solid bit of money, but it's like all theoretical to me. It's not like real money unless it's real money. It's like it's all monopoly shit. It's like, it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like every few days I just like take a look at it, just see what happens, because like it just goes up and down.
So you said that you're spread out among like different ones, so it's almost like you've got a diversified portfolio, which is, I know is like the rule number one in making investments. So you're doing the right thing. It sounds like.
I guess. Who the fuck knows? It's all so stupid. Want to talk about Fear Street?
Sure. So have you seen this at all?
I did. I watched it last week.
So just the first one?
Just the first one, yeah.
Okay, because while we're recording this today, the third installment comes out. But yeah, just to set this up, this is a trilogy of slasher films on Netflix. And they were produced at the same time and then released in a weekly format.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is called Fear Street Part 1, 1994. And so I guess you could say that it's taking a lot of inspiration from what slasher films were like during that era, right? Because I got like a real Scream vibe from this first movie.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then so like the second movie is part 2 is 1978, and it takes place at a summer camp. So it's like a Friday the 13th type deal. But yeah, I was just like so impressed with these movies. Like I do enjoy horror, but like the slasher subgenre has never really been my thing. Like I've seen a handful of them, but it's never really grabbed me the same way that other types of horror do.
Right.
But yeah, I really liked this first film. I mean, do you have anything to say about it? Because I took notes, so if you want to like give your impression of it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. It's very much my shit. I am the 90s nostalgia, freak. So like the heavy heavy uh music cues in the first half
Yes.
was like so gratuitous, and I loved every second of it.
There was like one every 2 minutes. It was great.
It was like chorus into chorus of different songs. It was like creep into like garbage into yeah, it was but then like after the first 40 minutes that just disappeared, and I was like, why?
It did, yeah. But I
Like,
feel like it
space it
made
out.
sense though, because then it was getting into like the heart of the conflict and the whole thing. So it kind of switched tones a little bit. Like it made sense to do that while it was establishing characters and setting up the, you know, the mythology and the towns and all that. But then it gets serious, right? Like about 45 minutes in.
Yeah, but I feel like you could have reached, you know, like deep into the 90s well and pulled out, you know, like some, I don't know, like lightning crashes or something. You know, like you could have made it work,
Yeah.
especially if you spaced it out, like, you know.
It's like it feels like they used all of their licensing money in the first
Yes.
half hour.
Yes. And part of the reason why I haven't watched 1978 yet is like, I don't care about that era. Like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't interest me. It's like just on the cusp of the 80s where I'm like so burnt out on that shit, and I've been burnt out on that shit for over 10 years already.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like, as much as I love, like, you know, Friday the 13th and that kind of thing, it's like I don't know that the that, you know, that era will do anything for me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, the way that they set it up at the end of the first movie is like, well, the only thing that would keep me going is like it's part 2, but I want to see what happens to those characters. I don't want to, you know, I don't really kind of give a shit about a new cast, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like the whole summer camp thing, like Wet Hot American Summer, like it doesn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar reservation, but part 2 is really good.
Is it?
It's really good. Like, it's just as good as the first part, in my opinion. And as an added bonus, it has Gillian Jacobs.
Ah, shit.
So,
God damn it.
yep.
All right.
And it does continue on with the main characters in the beginning and in the back, like 20 minutes.
Okay.
And the main characters will also carry over into the third movie in a very, very clever way, which I will not talk about.
Okay.
So yeah, and the story, the 70s story, that takes up the bulk of it, is heavily tied in, as you would expect. And it just like the way it lays out the mythology, like across movies, and it like builds the kind of world that they're in, is just it's really good. I'm just like really impressed with that aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as for this first movie, I thought it was great. And you know, like when you think about slashers, like the one thing that's really essential to slashers is having likable characters.
Yeah.
You know, like if you don't have likable characters, then what are you even, like, what are you doing?
Well, then you want to see him get cut up.
Well, sure, but I would still prefer to be rooting for the characters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then if they get cut up, then it lands harder.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's to say, like, I felt like the characters in this first film were great.
Well, yeah. No, that's actually an interesting point. Well, I think there was a shift in slashers between, you know, like Jason and Freddy and Mike Myers being like you know, this unspeakable evil, and them being this terrorizing force, and then them being the main character who you wanted to just see cut up a bunch of annoying teenagers.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
and I think on top of that, like, these movies feel like, even though they are sort of capturing like the older style of those like eras, the characters themselves are very modern.
Yeah, yeah. I think I read part of the AV Club review, and it was like, oh yeah, these are the wokest Midwest teens in the '90s, or something like that.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
mean,
like,
yeah, if you think about it that way, it's almost like a little bit jarring. But like, I'd rather see that. I would rather see the representation.
sure.
I'd rather see like the queer story that's at the heart of this film. Um, and like in the second movie, there's a very effective like sibling story too. So like they really carry over like the focus on characters in that film. Um, yeah, like really good performances. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm just like I was really I didn't see this coming. Like I heard R.L. Stein. I'm like I heard Netflix. I'm like I don't know. But then I watched it and I was like, for someone like I'm not really invested in slashers. It's hard for me to really get into them. I was like counting down the days for the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. See, I guess maybe it helped me that I didn't hear R.L. Stein until after I watched it.
Okay. Yeah.
So that probably helped. I do have to nitpick, like, because it does feel anachronistic in that, like, whenever the kid is on the computer, it's like, that is not how you used computers in 1994
Oh,
at
with
all.
the AOL messaging?
Yeah.
Was that not was that a
Like,
bit later?
yeah, a
Oh.
lot later. Like, for one thing, the biggest thing was that they couldn't be on the phone at the same damn time.
Yeah.
Like, explicitly, that was the whole thing.
I mean,
Uh,
I apart from the time issue there, I did appreciate that sequence and even like the title credits, like the opening theme, which is basically like the opening theme of a TV show, but like it
yeah,
established so much mythology in that.
yeah. At first, I thought I was like, oh, are they just kind of giving away the whole game here? Like, what?
Yeah, but really it
Um,
was just like saving time,
yeah, yeah.
which was a smart move.
Um, but yeah, like the other thing was like the way that kid talked was like people online understand it, like things like that. Um, Nobody would say that. That was like that's like modern like jargon,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
shoehorned into the like they were all just like sort of fine with the idea of there being like an online community, even though he was sort of like not the norm even in their group with that.
Mm-hmm.
They were all just sort of like accepting of that being a thing that could be the case with him. Um, Rather than in 1994 that being super uncommon, like, and rare for there to be one, an internet connection,
Yeah.
and two, to be talking with groups of people that you don't know in your own town. It was just slightly anachronistic, and it sort of took me out of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you
Well,
have that, you know, that you pay more attention to that because you like the era and you're looking for that. Yeah, you're looking for.
yeah. Meanwhile, if you look at something like Pen 15, where they do it so frigging accurately
Mm-hmm.
that it like hurts, and that's slightly later, and they nail it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like early 2000s, and like that they were so Fear Street is like inserting late 90s, early 2000s into a 1994 context, and it's like very jarring, because 1994 would be like like the Apple II, like sort of shit.
Just for
um
reference, and I don't know if this matters, but the director Lee Janiak, who directed all three of the films, she's 41, so she was born in 1980. So she definitely would have been
Yeah.
a teenager during that. Like, she would have been these characters' age, essentially.
Yeah.
During this, where this film is set.
No, I understand why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
It's to move this, you know, it's got to be for the story to move the thing, you know, move things along.
Yeah.
And also to make things easier for a modern teen audience to comprehend.
Definitely.
But for, you know, somebody of that era, even though I was born, I would have been 1 year old. Like,
yeah, see, I think we've debated about this before, because you consider yourself like a 90s kid, and I very much consider myself 2000s, because when the year 2000 hit, I was 6. So 6 to 16, like, it doesn't get any more essential, like, childhood than that.
Yeah.
Like, we've had that conversation before.
Right. I identify with the music of, like, that in Fear Street, like, you know, and like, the kid was playing a fucking Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the shit I grew up with. And maybe, like, it was because I had older cousins at the time, and so that, like, and that was the console my mom had.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, like,
yeah.
Maybe that's just what happened.
Yeah.
Just because I was born in 93, but, like, I don't know. But even stuff in the later 90s that still feels more part of my identity than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, because it carries over.
Yeah. So, like, whenever that Garbage song came on, I was like, oh shit, this is my shit, you know? Like, I grew up in a household that adopted the internet very, very early. Like, my parents had computers before I was born, so, like, I know how, like, each iteration of the internet and technology happened. So, like,
okay.
I can spot, like, whenever it, like, doesn't make sense.
See, I didn't start using the internet until at least, like, 2000, 2001.
Yeah, so, like, I was like almost born with it.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. Like, we had a computer room. Like, that's, you know.
Yeah.
That whole thing of, like, he couldn't be on AOL whenever his sister is taking a call. Like, you just couldn't. Like that that's
impossible.
the thing. Yeah, you couldn't. And I get why they need to do it, you know, like, in that scene he needs to be distracted and on the computer, but, like, it couldn't happen. And so, like, things like that do take me out of it, but, like, I still really appreciate, you know, this whole thing. And it bugs the shit out of me whenever people, like, turn their noses up at 90s nostalgia. And I mention this, like, every, like, 3 episodes on this show, but, like, we were so fucking oversaturated with 80s nostalgia, and it still hasn't ended.
Right. Wonder Woman 1984.
It's still going on. Yeah. And, like, we're still, like, drenched in neon, you know, bullshit of the 80s. And, like, the 90s still haven't gotten their, like, proper, like, due. And you're kind of only seeing it now, and people are, like, rushing to like, sweep it under the rug in a weird way. Where it's like, oh no, we don't need to remember that. Like, we don't need to. And it's like, well, why not? Why is one, you know, nostalgic experience invalid? Like, you're just now seeing, like you said, like this director's at the age where, you know, this would be nostalgic for her. This was her experience.
Yeah.
So why are we not allowed to revisit certain experiences, but we have to stay stuck, you know, in 1985?
Yeah,
like, it's just odd.
It is odd. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the only thing I could think of is that the people complaining are the people that grew up in the 80s and they just don't care.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I was also going to mention with this, it's pretty brilliant how they decided to make and release these, because any sort of successful horror franchise, or even just horror movie that doesn't start as a franchise, is going to get sequels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they're more often than not, like, there are exceptions, but they're more often than not bad.
Yeah.
So when you set out to make 3 and you write for 3 and you have a cohesive story that you're telling across 3 movies, you're just like getting ahead of that, and it's great.
Definitely.
And having seen where the second movie goes, and having seen where I believe the third movie is going, like, they nailed it. And like, the release format works for Netflix because you have like cliffhangers, and you have like episode recaps at the start of the subsequent movies. So it's like you can almost wait for these to come out, and you can marathon them if you want to, because that's how a lot of people like to watch things. So it just, like, it really makes sense how they went about doing this.
Yeah, like even in a best case, like, this is the kind of like a slasher movie where they would basically come out yearly,
Yes.
So best case, you'd have to wait a year, you'd have to wait till next Halloween.
Definitely.
Or Halloween. So yeah, it's really cool to see, and I'm actually surprised they didn't hold this for Halloween.
Yeah. Now that you mention that would have made sense. But I think, don't they have like Stranger Things coming out later this year? Probably.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Which, who knows? Maybe that show will last long enough where they'll get into the 90s.
But yeah, it was so much fun, like, watching this. I think it got a little long in the back half. Like, you maybe could have cut out like 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the second film has better pacing than the first one did.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're about the same length, but the second one felt shorter to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, the only nitpick I would have is that it did have a little bit of trouble, like, establishing the characters and the story, like, in the beginning. Like, it wasn't fully, I don't know, like, just the way that it the first, like, 35, 40 minutes, like, what it did was it had a lot of things that were called back to later on, like details and stuff, but while you're watching them, you're kind of wondering what the point of this scene is,
Yeah.
Like for example, when the killer just, like, arrives in their living room and is, like, looking through a bag and then leaves.
Yeah.
You're like, what is this? And it'll be answered by the end of the film, but it just, like, it felt a little bit weird in the moment watching some scenes like that.
Well, I guess that kind of works because, well, like, light spoilers, but they think that it's like a teenager trying to fuck with them.
Yeah, so it does have that angle to it.
But no, I know what you mean. Like the part where they're hiding drugs in that like, vent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Things like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be curious if you do watch the second one, like, what you think about it, because
Gillian Jacobs sold me.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker.
well, she plays the and not to spoil anything, but she plays the character that they call on the phone.
Oh shit! Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Goddamn.
Yep.
See, I thought I recognized that voice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's a good time.
Yeah. I wasn't, like, completely opposed. I was just like, late 70s, summer camp, like,
Mm-hmm. I mean, I have no real affinity for it either. Like, I've
Yeah.
probably seen like Friday the 13th at some point, but it's been so long,
Right.
you know. But like when
Yeah.
it's character focused, and when it's character focused, then you can kind of like, you know, it's not relying on that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's like, yeah, they were using the most generic, killers, uh, imaginable in this, and it doesn't matter,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Same thing for the second film.
yeah.
And it's like, you know, when it leans on nostalgia or things from that era, it's doing it with a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it's not doing it accurately, like you pointed out, it's still doing it with a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
which I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's also not trying to establish like, oh, this is going to be the new, Jason. Like they're not attempting that.
No.
Because it would fail regardless. Like
Yep.
whenever you see these like shitty monster focused horror movies that come out that try to make some new monster the next thing. What like the Bye Bye Man or what? Like just these dumb.
Yeah.
And they're just trash. So it's like, yeah, make the thing generic and don't make it the focus.
Right. And then like use that effort on the mythology and like exploring the world that they live in and like what's actually going on there,
Yeah.
which they do really well.
I was I'm not gonna go into deep spoilers here, but like I was surprised at some of the kills
Yes.
in this first one.
Yeah, there's one in particular of a significant character towards the end of the film.
Yeah, I did not think that they like at that point I thought like everybody like most people were pretty much safe.
Me too.
Most of them.
And the way that scene is set up, there's a struggle.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And the way it's set up, you would think that the character would prevail in that struggle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when that doesn't happen, it's a real surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I read that they pushed for the R rating, and they got it. Which, you know, why not? It's Netflix.
Sure. Yeah.
And that definitely helps because they some really effective, some pretty gruesome stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the right amount. It wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't,
No, definitely not.
It doesn't treat the characters like they're just like, meat sacks to be dismembered
No,
or anything.
no, not at all. And like when it does happen, it's more effective because it doesn't happen often.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that just makes it land harder.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that. That's why I wanted to bring it up. I'm glad that
Mm-hmm.
you watched the first one. Okay. Because this story is wild, so I feel like it fits for this show.
Why the hell not? Yeah.
Okay. So, Big Brother. I guess I'll set up what Big Brother actually is, right? It's a reality competition show. Airs on CBS during the summer. 16 people move into a house, and they live in this house. They're filmed around the clock. You can watch them via live feeds that are streamed on their website.
So before you continue, I do have this isn't a dead letter segment, but I got an interesting ad on my Twitter feed for Paramount Plus.
Okay.
Exclusively on Paramount Plus. Watch The House Guest 24/7 from every angle, plus the behind-the-scenes action and conversations in the Big Brother live feeds. Try it free.
Yeah.
Now, okay, whatever. But I noticed an interesting ratio. It had a lot of replies to it, and I was like, "That's interesting for a promoted tweet. Why does it have so many replies?" So I dove in. This happened this morning, by the way.
Okay.
And this one says, watch The House Guest 5 minutes at a time, then 7 minutes of music continuously through the night. Truth in advertising, please.
Well, yeah, that person's complaining about the fact that the live feeds have gone down quite a bit throughout this first week. I should say, like, we're actually going to get into this a little bit, but BB Twitter is a big thing. There's a very large Big Brother community on Twitter. But yeah, that person's. I understand their frustration with that. Like, you're trying to like sit down and watch the live feeds, and like just in the middle of a conversation, they'll cut away. for various reasons. I think as the season goes along, that's probably going to be less and less, because there are certain things that the people in the house just can't talk about, and they're all new, so it's like they're still getting adjusted to that, and they have to cut the feeds a lot.
LOL from two angles of two locations, but okay.
Well, yeah, I mean that's always been the case. They've had just two main cameras going.
Definitely scrubbing, whatever that means.
I don't know what that is.
False advertising, not 24/7, not from every angle, no behind the scenes. No, thanks. The awful host drove me away long ago.
Okay, well, was that just you? Did you bring
not until the Chen bot is replaced. I just can't take her anymore.
All right. Well, people like to complain.
Your app is terrible. Poach some coders from Disney Plus because yours are in over their heads.
I mean, that's not Big Brother's problem. That's a Paramount problem. That's like a CBS thing.
All I have seen is dogs in a cage, and then in parentheses, literally, not metaphorically.
Yeah, I can explain that one.
Oh, okay. Oh, God. I just thought that was like maybe racial. Okay.
No, this is a literal thing. So when they
Jesus Christ.
No, it's actually really good. So when they No, so like when the feeds go down for a long period of time, like scheduled, like they're doing like a competition that's going to air on the actual broadcast, right? So they'll have the feed go out for hours at a time instead of like the usual we'll be right back graphic. They cut to this like pet adoption center.
Oh my God.
And so you just, they have like a...
What, the Sarah McLachlan?
No, it's just literally just a camera in a place with the animals, and they have the animals
so
on
it's the
screen.
The puppy bowl.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, you can adopt these pets through this place or whatever. It's just like, advertising for pet adoption, which, there's nothing wrong with that.
All I see is dogs in a cage.
Yeah.
Despite all my rage, I'm still just a dog in a cage. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
It's just funny that I saw that this morning.
Well, it's funny because in my notes, the first thing I put down was that this story here that I'm gonna go through is not going to change your perception of Big Brother whatsoever. It's only going to reinforce it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so as I was saying about the show itself, the way it's structured, you have 16 people go to live in a house. One person gets evicted every week. And the way that eviction happens is there's a competition once a week, and the winner of that competition becomes the head of household. Right? So the head of household is basically in charge. They have the power, and they choose who gets nominated, the two people that go up for nomination to be evicted. Right? Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yep.
So this season just started last week. So our first head of household was a farmer named Frenchie. And I actually forgot to look up where exactly he's from. I know he's from one of the southern states. I guess we don't really need to know, but yeah, so this guy is a farmer. His name is Frenchie. Okay. He's from the South. He's fitting that sort of character type that they cast pretty often of like the southern, the southern guy with the accent.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. The southern himbo.
Yes. Sure. But there's something a little bit different about Frenchie, according to Frenchie himself. So he wins the head of household. He's got the power this week. He's kicking off the show. And he says that he is a huge fan of Big Brother. He's been watching it for years. He's such a big hardcore fan that he is actually a participant in BB Twitter, the Twitter community. Right? Okay. So he knows all the ins and outs of like what fans want to see and what they'll be rooting for, everything like that. Mm-hmm. So, he's head of household. He's got to make up his mind on who he's going to nominate to be evicted, right? He doesn't have much to go off of because he's only just met these people. So he makes a declaration and a promise, multiple promises actually, and he says that he's been watching the show for years, and he knows the house guests that are typically targeted first to be evicted, and those people usually end up being like the women or the people of color, right? And he's spot on. That does happen a lot. It's not great. It's not what you want to see. But hey, Frenchie's having none of it. He says that not on my head of household week. It's not going to happen. There will be no woman on the block. There will be no person of color on the block. He actually sits down with all of the women in the house and promises them to their face. And at this point, I'm on board. I'm Team Frenchie. I'm on BB Twitter. I know where he comes from. So what he does say is that he's going to target the meathead jocks in the house. And I'm not a big fan of the term meathead, especially when it's not applied properly, which it won't be in this case. But he likes to use it a lot, like all the time. For Frenchie, a meathead is just anybody who is athletically built.
Okay. Isn't it every dude that enters that house?
For the most part. So yeah, he's going after the meathead jocks, and he's going to get one out this week. And his
so he's a Reddit nice guy, is what you're telling me.
He's doing the redhead nice guy, yeah.
Reddit, not redhead.
That applies to. So he's targeting the meathead jocks. He's the Reddit nice guy.
Yeah, there we go.
And the jock he has on his mind is named Brent. Okay. Brent is,
there's always a Brent.
There's always a Brent. He fits the bill of the type of person that Frenchie wants to go after. So he's set. Frenchie's his target to nominate and to evict. This is like day 2, by the way. And things seem pretty solid for that plan. He even has he gets a little bit extra here, where when you nominate someone, you make a speech, for the show.
Yeah.
Like why you're nominating them and all that. And so what he's going to do is he's going to talk to Brent, and he's going to ask for Brent's help in writing a nomination speech for him. But then he's going to use that speech that Brent wrote on Brent. So, it's a little...
What?
So he's going to go up to Brent. He's going to say, can you help me write a nomination speech for this week? But Brent won't know that he's going to be the one that's nominated.
Okay.
Yeah, so then...
But he doesn't ask who he's nominating?
No, this is just, I guess, like a general speech. Which is all to say that he's very set on targeting this guy.
Yeah.
Even though he hasn't really talked to him yet. Like, at all.
And in the course of writing this speech together, they realize they're in love.
You are spot on. You really are. You nailed it. So what happens is Brent has about I want to say 15-20 minute conversation, a little sit down with Frenchie.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about some personal stuff. He shares some stories about Brent shares some stories about his life outside the house, and he just completely wins Frenchie over. Okay. So much that he went from ready to evict him to making what is called a final 2 deal.
Oh my God in heaven.
Where you find your person that you're going to be with for the rest of the game, and you basically are like, you know what, we're in this together. We're going to make this all the way to the final 2. And this, I'm not exaggerating when I say this was not more than a half-hour conversation. Really incredible stuff to see. I guess kudos to Brent in a way for he didn't even know that he was like in danger.
Right.
Nobody is the second day.
He's just talking. He's just
talking. Yeah, he's just talking. Yeah. And he just wins him over. They're best friends. So now Frenchie needs a new target.
Mm-hmm.
his other meathead is named Christian. And when I say meathead, this is all his words, not mine.
Yeah, this is
because these
language,
dudes are just they're in shape.
Yeah,
that's really all it is. So his next target is this guy named Christian. But unfortunately, Christian wins a safety competition, so he can't be targeted now.
Mm-hmm.
So Frenchie is he's
running out of dudes.
He's running out of meatheads.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but not really, because there's still some other like white guys that he could nominate if he wanted to.
Of course.
If he wants to, because he made this declaration on his own that he was not,
right,
targeting any women, no people of color. So to speed up a little bit, we get to the nomination ceremony, and who ends up on the nomination block is Alyssa, which
sounds like a woman's name to me.
It does, and Kyland, who is a black man. So he nominated both a woman and a person of color. Actually, two people of color, because Alyssa is a Latina woman.
That's a 3-for-2 deal, right?
It's a 3-for-2 deal. Yeah, it's a special.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, "What the fuck? Like, what is happening?"
Oh, Frenchie.
Yeah. So that happens. BB Twitter. I don't think Frenchie is welcome on BB Twitter ever again after he gets out of the house.
I wouldn't think so.
One of the major Twitter accounts that update on Big Brother information, they run a constant poll on like fan favorites. They rank 1 through 16. Frenchie's been a solid number 16 throughout the entire week.
Nice.
Just at the bottom of that list where he belongs. So yeah, he's best friends with Brent, the meathead. He thinks, in Frenchie's mind, this is going to make for a great story on the show, because it's like he came in with this assumption about how this person would be,
Mm-hmm. I love dudes that try to play producer.
Oh, I know. It's great. It's great. But then he met him, and he got to know him. And it turns out they had a lot in common.
Yeah, you know what? Nobody gives a shit.
I know. But this gets worse. Believe it or not, because we learn a little bit about Frenchie's history.
Oh.
And he's talked about being bullied in the past.
Mm-hmm.
He's had some rough experiences. People that have bullied him it seems like they've sort of fallen under that, quote unquote meathead jock type of persona.
Okay.
So, it doesn't take like a professional, like psychologist to really come to the conclusion that it's not that he hates the meatheads, the athletic jock type. It's just that he's never been accepted by them.
And now he is.
And at the very first chance that he had, he got right in with them.
Ay.
Which is really rough. And it also can lead you to kind of assume that his whole declaration of, I don't want to see any minorities or women targeted, and I want to work with them and go far with them in the game, comes from a place of what he thought was necessity, and not any actual concern about social issues.
Yeah.
And it really feels like a case of performative advocacy.
Oh, completely. I could have told you that whenever he
said it in the first place.
Said it out loud and had to meet with all the women.
Yes.
He could have just done it.
He could have just
without needing to make a show of it.
100%.
And then he made a show of it and then didn't do it either.
100%. Especially after last season. Which I wasn't going to talk about this, but it fits. Last season was an All-Stars Big Brother season. And one of the fan favorites came back, and he sort of soured his reputation because, well, he's a white guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he ended up in a scenario where two black women were going to be potentially like targeted to be evicted, and he felt responsible for that, or so he says. And so he made this whole like crying speech where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to take myself out of this game. I feel so guilty about this, and you guys deserve like the opportunity to like excel in this game, so I'm just going to self-evict. And
Okay.
Instead of one of you going home, I'm going to go home. I'm going to self-evict, and I'm going to convince the head of household to do that for me. And there's nothing you can do to change my mind about that, because I'm set on it. Cut to 2 days later, he apparently has a conversation with the producers, and he is not self-evicting. And, and one of those two women are going home. So that was bad. That was really bad. That caused the fan base to really turn on him, and rightfully so. Whether his intentions were like really like whatever his intentions were at the outset of that whole thing, you know, where it ended up was not a good look.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy just like he's doing the same thing.
Right.
He's doing the same thing. I mean, it's been a disaster even outside of that. Like this Frenchy guy has had like 6 different people that he's named trying to get out in this first week. Man, like it's a whole thing. I really just wanted to get into that aspect of it because it's pretty sickening.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. So Alyssa I mentioned Alyssa is the woman that's sitting on the block.
Right.
The reason that she's there, like why her, right? Like there's eight women in the house. Why her? Well, the reason is that Frenchie is also, you know, with his BB Twitter background, he is the showman's killer. Self-proclaimed showman's killer, because he sees that the people on Twitter, they don't like when there's romance in the house. You know, they want the game, they want the strategy, they don't want any of that romance stuff. So Frenchie's there, he's gonna kill that. He's any romance, he's gonna sniff it out, and he's gonna put an end to it. So
he sounds like a friggin' Reddit incel.
Yeah. So what happens with Alyssa? They're playing in teams, like they've been designated teams. And so Alyssa's on the team with Christian. So Alyssa and Christian are on the same team, and they've just had this is still day 2, I should add. Really day 1.5, honestly. Like they got in the night before, and like this is all happening the next day. So Christian and Alyssa are on the same team, and they've like maybe had a couple conversations. Like they've joked around a little bit. Because like you're in a house together, and then you're also sharing the room together because it's the room that your teammates are in.
Yeah.
And I think Christian might have made a passing comment to somebody saying that, oh yeah, she's my type. Okay.
That's it.
And so from that information, the showman's killer comes on the scene.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm not having this. These guys are these two, they're super close. They're about to get engaged, apparently.
He's like got the ruler at the school dance.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the ruler at the school dance, 6 feet for Jesus or whatever.
Okay, but he also could have put up the dude.
Well, Christian, that's what happened. So Christian saved himself.
Right.
He won a safety competition.
Right.
Are you not paying attention to this story?
Okay. Yeah. All right.
But so Christian saved himself. So he put Alyssa up because Christian made a passing comment that she was hot. That's the reason that Alyssa is facing potential eviction.
Meanwhile, all they do is find attractive singles.
Totally.
For the show.
Yes. It's just so misogynistic. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. This Frenchie guy is one of, if not the worst, people that I've like house guest players that I've seen on the show.
Don't worry, milady. I will keep you safe.
Yeah.
I will send you out of this dangerous house.
Yeah. It's brutal. And now luckily there are some updates to this. Alyssa was not evicted. Kylan, the other person on the block, was not evicted. There was a third nominee that came up later in the week, and they're gone. So that's good for them because they had no business being on the block.
Yeah.
There's also a new person in power now, and hopefully they will be making some better moves. But it was quite a week. It was quite a week. And like you know, a lot of time is spent talking about this Frenchie guy because he's just so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But the show has made good strides for like representation this year. They have finally hit the mark of 50% people of color on the cast, which is nice.
It only took
20 years.
20 years, yeah.
So there's that. It's a great cast overall. There's a lot of really good personalities, a lot of people that really shine like on the screen, and they're interesting to watch on the live feeds. Unfortunately, you do have somebody like Frenchie who is just a lunatic. And is doing all the wrong things. But my hope is that he won't be around for much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to give that update. I thought it was worth it. You probably thought differently, but I wanted to share it. Yeah, Frenchie. I mean, I was going to go into the fact that he also 2 days ago he went and gathered up a bunch of women together, and he's like, we should make an all women's alliance, but with me in it.
Oh my God, he really is the Reddit nice guy.
And so he did that, and none of the women.
I'm something of a feminist myself. My God, dude.
But what's amazing about this? Well, there's a couple of things. One is that the name of this alliance, because they name alliances, you know.
Yeah.
The name of this one is the French Kisses.
Oh my God.
So that's bad. And then also, what also makes no sense here is that he went and made this alliance with all these women. None of these women, like, they're all going to humor him because you don't say no to an alliance.
He won't let the women say no?
Oh no, that's not what I meant. I meant that, like, in the Big Brother house, if somebody approaches you with an alliance, you say yes, even if you don't mean it.
Yeah.
That's just part of the game because, like, why would you say no? But he created this alliance with these women, and they went along with it just to appease him in the moment. And then, like, 10 minutes later, he went and told people that the women all had an alliance together, and they just roped him in.
Oh, my God.
So he threw them all under the bus at the same time.
Man, these broads, let me tell you.
I'm laughing, but it's horrendous. It is.
Oh, my God.
And this is, like, it hurts because this guy says he's, like, this hardcore fan of the show.
Yeah.
And he's just wreaking havoc on, like, he's just doing everything that's wrong with the show. Oh, yeah, it's rough. But yeah, he's out of power now, and hopefully it'll stay that way. I'm looking forward to seeing other people take control here. But yeah, so I was gonna name this one-time segment the Frenchie Dispatch.
Oh my God.
And that was the Frenchie Dispatch. So I'm done with that now.
This is funny that it's coming up again. Because I was talking to my brother about this. Do you remember French Stewart?
French Stewart?
Yeah. Did you ever watch Third Rock from the Sun?
No.
Oh.
No.
Well, French Stewart was an actor. He had very tiny little eyes.
Okay.
It was very funny. Anyway, he was in Third Rock from the Sun. You want to talk about 90s? Third Rock from the Sun was some 90s ass shit.
Yeah, see, I told you I'm a 2000s kid. I don't know.
I guess so. If anybody out there remembers Third Rock from the Sun, hit me up. I want to get into Third Rock from the Sun discourse.
What's it streaming on? Is it streaming on Peacock? Like, where is it?
Oh, I have no idea where the hell Third Rock from the Sun is.
Yeah.
It was probably on Quibi.
Yeah. Did you see that Quibi got like not a bunch, but it got a handful of Emmy nominations from the grave?
God. It's apparently pretty goddamn easy to get an Emmy nomination.
Yeah.
they'll just hand them out like chocolates. God, but yeah, they're right from the sun. Send me French Stewart pics at video@deadendroad.co. I want to look at his tiny little eyes.
Okay, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you purchase a French Stewart NFT?
You know?
And if so, how much?
French Stewart NFT. You know, I might. Because it would be very funny.
It's just a JPEG.
Just a JPEG.
Yeah.
If it was, I might. Just there's something about him. You just look at him and it's just, you just smile. He's just a fun guy.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
Yeah, if French Stewart's been canceled, this is gonna be.
Oh no.
I don't think so. I think he's been out of the spotlight long enough. And also, when
he's very squinty.
Yeah, he's got very small eyes.
Yeah.
What a treasure.
He's from Albuquerque.
Yeah.
And he
French Stewart is a national treasure.
Have you ever seen the CBS sitcom Mom?
I have not.
Because he played a chef on that show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good for him.
By the way, his name is Milton French Stewart the Fourth.
See that's royalty. That's royalty.
And also, did you know that he played Inspector Gadget?
I did.
Wait, was he the Inspector Gadget?
He was the Inspector Gadget.
Oh, I know this guy.
Yeah.
I know this guy. I thought he was in Inspector Gadget, but he was the Inspector Gadget.
He was the Inspector Gadget.
Oh, of course. Stewart. I've got like a French Stewart action figure somewhere in my closet.
Yeah, see?
There we go. Cool.
I think everybody needs a French Stewart action figure.
I think so. I should probably display that somewhere. It shouldn't be just sitting in the closet.
Yeah. Like, fuck these Funko Pops. You need a French Stewart.
But you would buy a Funko French Stewart Pop, though. Like, in an instant.
I don't... No, see, like, the Funko Pops, their eyes are too big. By design.
I mean, it's their entire head, though.
Right. I don't think it works for French Stewart.
Yeah. You're right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
All right, we got to get out of here.
Okay, yeah.
Before we... Oh, God. All right. You can follow me everywhere at DeadEndRoad. Check out the Facebook, DeadEndRoad. Facebook.com/DeadEndRoadTV. Twitch.tv/DeadEndRoadTV. Check out the website. I finally posted Galaxy Tab S7 Plus review if you're looking for a tablet. The thing's awesome. I use it every day. So check that out at DeadEndRoad.co. That's probably all I got to plug.
Yeah, and I just wanted to plug, you can find me on BB Twitter.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah,
but not BBW Twitter, because that's a different thing.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't want that.
All right, we'll see you next week with more bullshit. Take it easy.
So I'm assuming BBW Twitter is bad, right? Oh, wait. I was just like, we don't want that. I thought it was like some like Blue Lives Matter or some shit. Cut the last second off. Now I'm the misogynistic one. God damn. Yeah.